How to text like a high value. Jesus. All right. All right. I fell for the bait. How to text like a high value man.
Here's how to text like a high value man. Instead of saying, sorry I didn't respond, say, it's been a busy day, but I'm free now. Instead of saying, what do you want to do? Say, I have a plan. Instead of saying, when are you free? Say, I'm free Wednesday or Thursday night. Which is better for you? Instead of saying, did you get my message? Say nothing. Here's
Okay, you see, this is just straight up like, I don't know if I fully agree with this, but then again, I don't know if I'm considered a high value man. I think I am in certain aspects of my life. I wouldn't say in the monetary sense, I'm not rich by any means. I'm a regular dude that works a regular job. You know, I live a regular life. Often when people tell me how I'm doing, I never have anything exciting to say. I always say, oh, you know, I'm just chilling, same old as usual. I live a very boring life. That is precisely what I usually say. And it gets a chuckle out of people, right? Because it's true, because most people live normal lives, right? Now, this whole texting game, I think is silly. I think the way she's describing the text messages is as if you're coming across too needy. So let's break these down one by one.
Here's how to text like a high value man. Instead of saying, sorry I didn't respond, say, it's been a busy day.
Okay, so the sorry I haven't responded, I kind of agree. You shouldn't have to apologize for not responding. Realistically, a lot of us work throughout the day. We don't always have our phones available on us 24 hours. If you're a construction worker, for example, you might not want to put your dust-filled hands in your pocket to pull out your phone that doesn't have a screen protector on it. You know what I mean? To respond to somebody's message. So, you know, you're going to probably tell them, hey, it's been busy, but, you know, what's up? You know, I got a moment now. Because that actually conveys that when you did have a moment to spare, you spared it and used it on them. So I can kind of give her props for that one, just off of the construction guy example. Let's see what else.
But I'm free now. Instead of saying, what do you want to do? Say, I have a plan.
Okay, so the what do you want to do instead of I have a plan? Now, yeah, it can be a little annoying, like ping-ponging with each other, where either of you don't know what you want to do. You know, like I can use my own relationship as an example. So there will be times where I would tell, you know, me and my girl would order something to eat, right? Like if we're just feeling lazy and don't want to cook. And I usually just take charge and say, all right, I know what you're getting. And I just order it for her. Because if I ask her what she wants, there's this big like deliberation process. And, you know, there's these pros and cons of all these places, because selecting food is like Netflix, right? You just kind of end up going through it so much that all your time runs out. So because human beings, us, the people, us as human beings are creatures of habit, we tend to pick the same thing all the time. We watch the same shows on TV. We watch the same content creators. We do the same thing all the time. So me knowing what she would want to eat, I just ordered for her, and she's always thankful because you know, she doesn't have to go through this long process of deciding on what she wants, just to pick the same thing that she's going to pick anyway. So I kind of agree with just kind of getting to the point. There are times where that does have value. Being indecisive in your life in general holds little value, because if you're indecisive in one area, chances are, statistically, you're probably indecisive in many other areas of your life. By the way, doing this live stream is actually giving me some good ideas for some topics. I'm going to take notes. So yeah, let's, you know, good on her for that one.
Instead of saying, when are you free? Say, I'm free Wednesday or Thursday night. Which is better for you?
That's also a good one. It kind of conveys that, you know, you're a man about business and you're not just like on her 24/7. You know what I mean? And by you dictating and informing them on when you're free, it helps free them as well, because maybe they can work around one of their plans to go see you, or vice versa, right? So when you give somebody the option to ask them when they are free, you're giving them an out all the time, because what if they don't want to see you one day? They could just be like, oh, you know, I'm free tomorrow, but I kind of want to just like hang out in my underwear and do nothing all day. You know, there are people that just don't want to do anything. I'm very selfish with my time. There are times where I just want to be alone. I don't want to be around anybody. But this is, you know, first of all, I don't think this should only apply to high value men. All right. First of all, regular men live the same type of life. Regular men have to work. They have to get up. They have to shower. They have to groom themselves. They have to live in a world where they often are in their own quiet, desperate moments. There are a lot of things that transpire and happen to us on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so saying this is how high value men text, I think it should just be how all men text. But I understand the clickbait aspect of it. The clickbait is to dictate that this is how you would text if you were of a certain caliber, right? And it's also good clickbait because it's gonna make all the people that she expects to come and watch it. So I think she has one more. Let's see.
Instead of saying, did you get my message? Say nothing.
Yep, that's actually really good. I completely 100% agree with that one. Damn, I guess I ended up agreeing with all of these, which is kind of weird. I didn't expect to, but when you look at it through a different context, through a different lens, and you're not like being, if you're being objective, right? Some of those tips are true. If you can apply them to your own life experiences, you can experience a moment where this happened to you. This would happen to me where I would be impatient and be like, hey, did you get my message? And I came across as just really needy. I made it seem like I had nothing else going on with my life, which is really horrible when you really stop and think about it. You always want to, have something going on. Let's see some of the comments here. Let's see all the vitriol here. Instead of pretending to be a high value man, become one and stop caring about how you text. That's actually good. I like that. This is a solid comment. All the games men need to learn in order to just be normal with a woman in today's modern age. With the laugh, that's so true. That's why. All right, that's a good comment. I always say this. I always say this. Too many people spend too much time being clowns, man. Just live your life. If somebody doesn't like you, just move on. You don't have to worry about constantly gaming somebody. That's boring. That's stressful even. Could you imagine that? Imagine you scored a super baddie, right? Imagine you scored someone that is objectively beautiful. Not just her friends told her she's beautiful, like objectively beautiful, right? And you constantly are so neurotic and nervous that you have to always figure out different ways to keep her out of fear of losing her, fearing that she's just going to go off into the distance with somebody else. Like, that's nerve-wracking and it's annoying and it's something that you shouldn't have to deal with, okay? So I believe the most organic conversations are the ones that tend to last. Now, granted, just because you have natural chemistry with somebody, it doesn't mean that you're meant to be with that person. You two could just be really good at being together at that moment.